That parable was about the father's love. Do you remember? And we talked about this boy and how much his father loved him and did everything in order to get him back. We wanted to communicate to you about God's big heart for the lost. Okay? That was important. It's important that you know that as you start, because you go out with a message of love. We went to week 2 and we talked about the parable of the wheat and the tares, and we gave you feedback. Do you remember? We ended talking about 7 things that people out there think about you. We need to be able to sharpen our witness, okay? And to be effective people who communicate the aroma of Christ. The truth is that you need to be well received because you are coming with good news. That was the reason why we talked about the parable of the wheat and the tares. And then last week, we became an outreach to our environment. And I want to thank you. We planted 176 trees. Okay? And we said that we are growing them. Alright? If we are good to our environment will be good to us. Did you see your seedling today? Yes. Please watch it after the service and just make sure that it grows. We partnered you up so that you can ensure that the tree is growing. In a few years, you won't believe how different this place looks. And our environment will begin to serve us. Today, we finish with the parable of the king's banquet. That's how we're going to finish, and it's pinchy, I promise you, because we are finishing this sermon. Some years ago, I was much younger than I am now, 10 to 15 years ago. As a youth leader in church, we were sent out on a mission to Turkana. And we went out in a group of about 10 people, and we were out in Turkana for 12 days. And in 5 of those 12 days, no one showered. The men did not mind. The ladies were very concerned. But I remember on one of those days, when we were going witnessing out, we were supposed to speak in Kiswahili, and then it's translated to Samburu. My friend, Pastor Kingi, and I, some of you have met Pastor Kingi, we had been walking for like 3.5 hours from 7 in the morning. It was just about 11. We were hungry, we were frustrated, we were tired. They had told us that it's door-to-door witnessing. You go with the 4 spiritual laws, and you meet someone and you tell them about the love of God. You show them some 4 images, and you communicate to them where do you think your life falls. What they didn't tell us is that for the Samburus, door-to-door is one door is about 4 kilometers from there. And so by the time you do like 5 houses, you are tired and frustrated. Halfway through, Pastor Kingi was very tired, very upset. He was crying of hunger. He has a different version of this story, but who cares? He was really upset. We got to this place, and we saw smoke. When you see smoke coming from somewhere, you know there's a manyata there. And it was on a hill. In our frustration, we said, listen, lunch is in about 2 hours, but let's just keep walking towards lunch. That's what Kingi said. For me, I was the most spiritual one. I said we have to do our due diligence and climb up. And we climbed up this hill. I don't even know how those people go up and down because we were literally almost on our fours. It was this steep. And we reached this place. And we called out, myself, Kingi, the translator, we were calling, hello? Because we saw smoke. And we thought maybe there's no one. And then suddenly, this old woman crept out in her voice. Kingi took off. I held him back. She looked like something. I promise, looking at her like this, she wasn't anything under 120 years old. Nothing. And she was clutching a little baby, like about 3 weeks old. It was very ironic to see that. Fresh baby, very old lady. Her skin was literally hanging from her eyes were white. I mean, she was a sight. I don't blame Kingi for wanting to run away. I mean, it looked scary. And she came out crawling. I just thought it's time to leave. But then we just wanted to get this over as fast as possible. And so, that people look at it and you think, this one cannot get saved. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be a bit real. We were scared. So we thought this one would work. So first we just asked, we knew it was not her baby. So we asked like, who's the baby? And she said that was her great-granddaughter that she was holding. And she was speaking rapidly in Samburu. And then we just did the bold thing. We just said, we are from Nairobi, do you know where that is? She said, no. And we just said, we came to talk to you about Jesus. Do you know who that is? And she just stared us back. Hey, so I nudged Kingi and he started. And he walked her through. So he's telling her about where your life is outside of Christ, what happened with sin, and what Jesus has done about it, and how your life can be connected to Christ. And I didn't think she was listening. She was just staring you down. And finally, we asked her, have you understood what we've said? And she repeated in Samburu that she has. And then we asked her, would you like to give your life to Jesus? And she said, yes. She would like to give her life to Christ. And so it was my turn. So I went near to her and I held her hand and I asked her to repeat this prayer. And I said it in Kiswahili, was said in Samburu, and she repeated. And she repeats back, and then finally the prayer was done. And then she clasped my hand a little more tightly. And I thought, okay, this is where I die. Then she spat on it, and spat on it again, and spoke rapidly. And she spoke so rapidly in Samburu, and she was looking up, her white eyes were gazing up, and her frail hands were up. And I thought, oh my goodness, we've messed it up. Just something was happening. And the translator then said, she is telling God that when I was a little girl, missionaries came here and they asked me whether I want to receive you, and I said no, because I was young and foolish. And I told you not to allow me to die after the missionaries went until you send someone back. And now you have sent these young people from a faraway land so that you could give me a second chance. And I thank you for coming. And that is why I bless these young people for coming to give me this word. I receive it with thanksgiving, and now I can die. Kingi and I have always asked ourselves the question, what if we never went? That is the power of outreach. And why the devil is so committed to give you an excuse why you can't go. 18 of about 350 regulars we have is 5.1% of our congregation. Shame on us. Let me ask you something. What if all of us went? Do you see the stories you hear over here? What if all of us went? That is God's heart. What would have happened to our neighbor? I thank God that this 18, you braved the weather and decided you're going to come. And boy child, you are well represented. But what if we all went? We are reading Matthew chapter 22. I think it is verse 1 to about verse 14. The parable of the wedding banquet. Can you see it? It must be on the screen. The context of this parable. I need to tell you something about parables. Rules for parable number 1. A parable is a fictitious story that is spoken to emphasize something the speaker wants to say indirectly against his or her enemies, so that you are not charged for libel or defamation. It is essentially tendawili. Okay? Your enemy knows you're talking about them, but they can't pin you down. Number 2, parables have exaggeration for the sake of effect. Okay? And then parables try to communicate just one thing that you need to go home with. Okay? Just one thing. Literally, you cannot say there's a log in somebody's eye. But it is said to emphasize and exaggerate something so that you don't forget. For this specific parable, you need to remember this line and never forget it. Please count me excused. I cannot come. That's what you need to remember. You are telling the king, please count me excused. I cannot come. Okay? You need to remember that. The context of this parable was this. Jesus was nearing danger points in ministry. He was beginning to be a serious thorn in the flesh to the Pharisees. He had said so many parables against them, now they knew it's time to finish this guy by Matthew 22. Before that, he had spoken about the parable of the tenants. And he said a certain rich man had some homes he needed to take care of. And he left it in charge with some people to take care of it, but they swindled him. And so he decided to send some people to go get the harvest or the rent from them. They looked at these people and they beat one, they harassed another one, and they killed another one. And then finally he sent his son. And then they said, this son is the heir. Let's kill him. And so they killed him. And then he finally came himself. And Jesus asked the audience, when the owner of this house comes, what do you think he will do to those people? And the people were upset. They would say, we'll take those people, throw them out, and give some people to take care of his property. And Jesus said, correct. And he told the Pharisees, the kingdom of God is going to be taken away from you and given to people who will produce its fruit. That is the context of this parable. And then he spoke to them another parable, and this is where we come today. Pinch your neighbor again. It's about to get hot. It's really about to get hot. Jesus spoke to them another parable saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared a wedding banquet for his son. He sent his servants to those who had been invited to the banquet to tell them to come, but they refused to come. Then he sent some more servants and said, tell those who have been invited that I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and fattened cattle have been butchered and everything is ready. Come to the wedding banquet. But they paid no attention and went off, one to his field, another to his business. Luke says, one told him that he has just bought a new set of oxen. And another one said, I've just gotten married and I'm going to my honeymoon. The rest seized his servants, mistreated them, and killed them. The king was enraged. He sent his army and destroyed those murderers and burned their city. Then he said to his servants, the wedding banquet is ready, but those I invited did not deserve to come. So go to the street corners and invite to the banquet anyone you find. So the servants went out into the streets and gathered all the people they could find, the bad as well as the good. Luke said, he said, go invite the blind, go invite the lame, go invite the sick, go invite anyone. In other words, go outside of our kingdom and get anyone you can get to come. So the servants went out into the streets and gathered the people they could find, the bad as well as the good, and the banquet hall was filled with guests. But when the king came in to see the guests, he noticed a man there who was not wearing wedding clothes. He asked him, how did you get in here without wedding clothes, friend? The man was speechless. Then the king told his attendants, tie him hand and foot and throw him outside into the darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are invited, but few are chosen. The title of the sermon today is Please Count Me Excused. I cannot come. Remember, there is nothing wrong with the genuineness of your excuse. There is nothing wrong with it. Why you couldn't come is genuine. A man that genuinely got married and he was running to his honeymoon. Another one had just bought a fresh set of oxen or a new car, and I need to go meet some business associates. Another one has had a new business. Another one was attending important functions out in Meru. The excuse is genuine, but you cannot. Rick Warren, in his book Purpose Driven Life, page 1, this is what he says. It's not about you. The purpose of your life is far greater than your own personal fulfillment, your peace of mind, or even your happiness. It's far greater than your family, your career, or even your wildest dreams and ambitions. If you want to know why you are placed on this planet, you must begin with God. You are born by His purpose and for His purpose. It's not about you. There are 4 talking points in this parable. There are 4 things we have to talk about. We have to talk about, okay? Because this is a hard-hitting parable. You need to understand that as soon as this parable was done, Jesus' life was in mortal danger. And you'll probably understand why. There are 4 things we must talk about. And one is an explanation. What is a king's banquet? What is a king's banquet? You know, we are completely out of context with this story because we have a parliament, we have elections, we have parliamentarian senators, we have governors, and we elect our leaders. There is campaigning and stuff like that. And we don't have a king. The closest in East Africa is probably Uganda, but even they have a presidential system. If you want to understand something about a kingship, you need to go to Dubai. Okay, Dubai. The emir is the owner of the country. He owns everyone and everything. There are no elections, ever. If he dies, a member of his family takes up the kingship, and there's no dispute about it. Everything, everywhere belongs to him. The Emirates airline doesn't exist to make money. They just store their money somewhere. It's probably the best airline you will ever fly, but the emir will never run out of money. Never. That is the concept of kingship. Everything you have and everything you do and everything you are, you exist and live at his pleasure. He can have you jailed or he can have you promoted and nobody asks him questions. That is the concept of kingship. Now, to the subjects of the kingdom, everything about the personal life of the king is very important to you. Because to live like that, can you imagine if the king is a bad person? What are you going to do? You depend on his goodwill and on his happiness to be happy. And so the things which surround the king are very important to you, especially personal ceremonies around him. Number one, something like his birthday is very important to you. Something like his business connections and his friends are very important to you. More importantly, his family is very important to you. Time after time, when an important event came to the king's life, he would call a stop to celebrate. Remember, he's not broke. And when he called for a stop for a celebration, everyone was invited. He threw a banquet in which everyone, subject to being a member of that land where he lives, you had an automatic invite to come. That's what a king's banquet is. It's a special dinner that he throws out to celebrate because something good is happening in his life. In this story, the king's son was getting married. Can you imagine how important that is? His life is filled with celebration. And he's saying, my son is of age. And and I have set a banquet for him, and I would like you to, my son is getting married. That is what a banquet is. In places where they still run a kingship, banquets happen. That is the first talking point. Understanding what a banquet is. The second talking point is this. Why was the king so angry? In the two stories, we are both told the king was very angry. In fact, Luke's version says he was filled with rage. Do you know why he was filled with rage? It is because the word Lord, I am Lord over you, or Jesus is my Lord, it means yes. No matter what you say, it is yes. Because I belong to you. In fact, the invite had an assumption that you don't have a choice but to come. Because you are my subject. So I give you this invite to come and sit at the table. You know why? Because you are a subject of this kingdom. You are a citizen of this country of which I own. I own what you do. I give you a job. I pay you. You know why he was angry? Because they say, no Lord. There's no such thing as no Lord. You're saying no, yes. What are you saying? You are saying the job you gave me, the wife you gave me, the air I breathe that is coming from you, everything that springs from your bounty, the water I drink that comes from you, the very thoughts I think that come from you, everything that I exist under the pleasure you give has become more important to me than you. What you are telling me is not important. The wife you gave me, the wife you prayed about and pleaded, God, please give me a spouse. And I provided the spouse for you. Now that spouse has become more important to you than me. Have you any idea what you're doing? One say, got the invite, come for the banquet. They say, you know what? I'm going to work. The king has said, stop everything. Because my son is getting married. And you're saying, you're going to work. Which work? He was enraged. Remember, the excuse is genuine. He was still enraged. He was also embarrassed at your insolence. When did things get here? People are seated. The king is an honorable man. He's a dignified man. He's a benevolent man. But people are walking in and they are seeing, what has happened to your authority? You have called for a stop and people are running businesses. You've called for a stop and people are there in the corners buying and selling. You have called for a stop. These people, what has happened? He was enraged because people's priorities had shifted. They are provoking his jealousy. Remember the Bible says, God is a jealous God. They didn't see it. They used to see it. But they're not seeing any longer how important this is. It is easy for them to find a reason not to come, genuine as it is. In fact, some of them don't think this event is important. From the moment they knew that your son is getting married, they decided they will not come. That is called rebellion. It is when the suppositions of the king's heart and yours are very different. From the moment he starts to send the invite, you have decided you won't come. In fact, you've made another plan already. You breathe in, you breathe out, because God gives that oxygen. The king is God. The banquet or the command is the people who are lost, whom he wants in his house. But guess what? You're busy. What are you busy doing that is more important than what is residing in your king's heart? That's the question. That's the question. That is why he was so enraged. Because priorities had shifted. Then the king said, all right, I invited them. Do you know when you received your invitation to be on the king's table? It is when you gave your life to Christ. You know why the king was so enraged? Because you had said you're going to come. And then when the banquet was arranged, you changed your mind. My brother is a pastor in the US. He likes to say this about Christians. He says, when you give your life to Christ, he doesn't come for it immediately. He takes it. Ownership changes. Legally, my life is yours. I've given you my life. But you continue to stay the way you are. And to do the things you do. And some time passes, and he knows that you legally belong to him because you've given your life to him. And then one day, he comes to you and he tells you, let's go, and you're resisting. What has happened is, you've taken your life back. The only reason why you can refuse is because you think you belong to yourself. That is why your business, your wife, your cow, your car is more important to you than God. Rick Warren says, it's not about you anymore. That was done. Paul says in Colossians, you died, and now your life is hidden with Christ in God. It's gone. You cannot say, no, Lord, I can't do it. I wish I could have told you that we told you about this outreach a day before. Did we? We told you in advance, did we not? You still decided you would come. This is where you need to be pinching yourself now. Not where your neighbor is pinching you, now you need to pinch yourself. Your master is asking you questions. And it's questions between you and him. It says a lot. So the master did this. He said, fine. Those people I invited, this scripture says, did not deserve to come. Can you imagine God saying that? He says you no longer deserve to come. You know why? Because you don't see the value of me and what is important to me. So you know what I'll do? The emir of Dubai decides, go outside of Dubai. Go to Africa. Go to people who don't belong to this kingdom. Go to their dogs. That's what they used to call them. You know, the people of the kingdom are prestigious people. They were the Jews. Jesus was telling this to the Pharisees. He says, because you reject the word of God, now we will take the gospel to the Gentiles, who are called dogs and undeserving of the kingdom. For a Pharisee, even if he bumped into a Gentile by mistake and their clothes touched, the Pharisee would go home, take off those clothes and burn them. Because that is how dirty the Gentiles were. God said, these ones don't deserve to come, go to the Gentiles and invite them in. And lame people and blind people and people from other countries suddenly filled this place, the banquet. He said, you don't want me? I will look for someone who does. Because your position, you're joking with it. You take me too lightly. And so I will look for someone who wants me, even though they are not of this kingdom. And so the servants went out and took your seat. But your seat is taken without you knowing. So Jesus was telling the Pharisees, God is going to take the kingdom away from you and give it to someone who will produce its fruit. That's what he told the Pharisees. Your position, you take it for granted. There's someone who wants it. And it's someone who was previously less deserving. But because you won't come, the banquet hall has to be full. These are how banquets were organized. And if you go to England, you'll find it the same. Every seat has a name. Every seat. So now because where you are to sit, this seat is seated on Ondachi. That seat is seated James. That is, if you are not there, a person will come and sit on your seat. And they will produce fruit for God. Remember, God does not lose. And then the king came in when the banquet was full. And this is our third talking point. And he saw a man there. And we're asking ourselves the question, who was the mystery man? Who was the mystery man? Because his conversations with this guy is very interesting. Now, you need to know about a banquet. Banquets were so elaborate. When you entered it, you are given a dress code. And the dress code was essentially a uniform. Okay, if an event is black tie, okay, everybody dressed the same. You know why? So that all the attention stays with the king. You are not to come here and show off your designer clothes. That was not it. You couldn't outshine the king. The reason why children wear uniform to school is so that you are not able to tell which child is poor and which child is rich. The attention was supposed to be on what are we doing here? We are here to learn. And schools provide a sense of equality for everyone, okay? But also, so that attention stays where it's supposed to stay. So when you came in, even if you did not have clothes, out there, the king was rich enough to provide a dress code for everyone. There was something called a wedding outfit, which you wore, banquet clothes. In other societies, it is a bow tie that is black and a tuxedo, and everyone dresses the same. So that you don't start to wonder, wow, who's your tailor? Check it on you. Everybody dressed the same. So the king walks in and immediately notices a man who, though sharply dressed, is different from everybody else. And so immediately walks up to him and he asks him this question: how did you get into this banquet, friend? The first question is, how did you pass security? And then he called him friend. You know why? This person managed to fool everyone else that he was friends with the king. Because they used to be friends. Yeah? They used to know each other. There was a point at which him and the king were tight. Security people knew them. People around here knew them. They knew him. And so they felt, since you and the king are tight, you can pass through security because, we know you. It's the way you lose a job and you're in a high-ranking position, okay? There are some people who fear you, but they don't know that you lost your job. Even you are not sure that you lost your job. But your values have changed. You see, you are replaced and you don't know it. But something has changed. Even the most basic rules of what the king wants, you've forgotten. Every time you have an excuse and you don't attend the king's banquet and you don't come to functions anymore, you are wearing your own righteousness, which God says is like filthy rags to him. You are wearing your own clothes and you are picking values that belong to you, not the king. You become so different, you don't even know what the king loves anymore. So you come in your sharp designer clothes. The fact that there's a set of clothes there, set for people to wear, so that we can focus on the king, doesn't matter to you anymore. But here's the other thing. You are probably not coming to this banquet as a last stop. There's somewhere you are headed where people are dressed just like you. Where you can go and boast of your accomplishments. Where you can go and talk about how fly your wives are. And how great your businesses are doing. That's where you are headed. So the king knows you don't belong here. And so immediately he came to him and he told him, friend, how did you pass through security? It was clear that they were friends before. But you can fool everyone, but you will not fool God. You can fool people. Hey, I am still worshiping, and here I am. One guy is leading worship, and I'm dancing, but you did not come yesterday. Where were you when I wanted people to be reached with the word yesterday? This doesn't fool God. This can be a very big show to God. For you, your love for God is coming to church. Who told you? Your love for God is doing what God commands you to do. When you are not in church, that is love for God. It is when you drop everything and you say, the king has commanded and I'm here. I'm going. My wife can be more important to me than God. My job can be more important to me than God. My kids can be more important to me than God. God is the most important factor in my life. That is what worship is. The guy fooled everyone. He didn't fool God. So listen to the pitch. He told his attendants, tie him hand and foot and throw him out. Can you imagine? Into the darkness where they will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Jesus said that. No. I wish I could tell you different. But the one who knows your heart is the one saying, tie him and throw him. Our values have become so different. I can speak, I can cough, and you don't catch a cold. What worries me doesn't worry you anymore. I can stand here with you, and you're not even wearing the righteousness of my son. You have become so proud in your own righteousness, in your own priorities, that you dare walk into my presence to embarrass me in front of my guests, who can see your arrogance as you walk in your own clothes and in your own accomplishments, and you're saying, me and you are still friends. It doesn't work. He said, friend, we are very different. You know what the real problem was? This guy didn't really want to be there. You know why God takes people to hell? It's because they don't really want heaven. God gives you the desire of your heart. Heaven has got rules. It has got the things which you love. You go to the place you desire to. You cannot dodge your way around this thing. You are wearing the label of God's son. But the priorities of God are not yours anymore. So if God got a toothache today, you wouldn't know. That is why this parable probably took Jesus to the cross. Because he was telling the Pharisees, you don't qualify anymore to touch the things of God. You don't even know God anymore. Though you wear the facade of representing God. But you don't. And so I'm asking you today, where in your priority of things does God really lie? If 5.1% of a church like this can show up for an outreach, what is it that is really important to you? If you were to tell God what to do, what would you advise him? I don't show up for your functions. I don't cry when you cry. I don't go when you send me. I don't know your voice anymore. I don't read your word the way I'm supposed to. What do you want God to do? There is nothing more important to God than lost people. Nothing. If you want to know what matters to God, there is nothing that makes his heart beat than the fact that there are people in those houses who have no idea who God is. And God is sending you and me to go and tell them. We printed 2,000 flyers so that you could pick it and go to this house and invite someone for prayer, so that our volunteers can call them through the month of May and tell them, we sent some people to you. Did they come? Yes. You gave us some prayer requests. We've been praying for you. Now, we would like to invite you to come fellowship with us. That's what we're heading. But we have 1,500 flyers still here. What do you want God to do? The window is closed. Your place, you are assuming on it too much. The only reason why you could chew gum and go do whatever you're supposed to do yesterday is because you think your seat is there. Friend, you are in trouble. You are hanging with your friends yesterday because you think they are guaranteed. The king said, how come you fooled everyone getting in here? You can't fool him. The kingdom is his. He can't throw you out. And there's no court that's going to stand up for you. But there's a small window. Our outreach ends today. So we have one more chance today. One. We have 1,500 flyers. I want you to reach 5 people. Friends, I want 2,000 contacts. We have a mandate to reach Lazarus. Okay? That is the mandate in my heart as your leader. I want 2,000 contacts, and I want to know what are our neighbors going through. I want to know what are your neighbors going through, so that we can pray for them. I don't want to take to God 30 out of 2,000 names. What am I going to tell him? That we meet and have fun on Sunday. Why are your people afraid of their neighbors? Where is my love for them? That's the question. So I'm asking us, we'll finish service. I'm asking us to show love to our children and stay for just 1 hour as the children do their presentation. We have tea Sunday and meals, okay? But I want you to pick 5 flyers. Is that okay? Pick 5 flyers. I want you to take it to 5 people And the instructions are really simple. I'm not asking you to invite people to your church. We're not doing that. We are telling them we are praying in the month of May. And I'm giving you this flyer to come as you are. And I want you to share with me, what can I pray with you about what you are going through? And then I want a contact. It needs to come to Pastor Wahu and Pastor Zach and our team. Okay? And through the month of May, we will be praying. Because we want to ask God, are you sending these people to us? Okay? Are you sending them to us? And after we pray, then we will call them and invite them to come. And like somebody said on stage, we want them to say, I came because you are praying for me. You are in God's kingdom because somebody prayed for you. You cannot deny that to somebody else. You can't. Why would you do that? You see, it's the reason why God would want to kick you out. How could you enter and then you close the door? Because that's what we did yesterday. You are telling everyone else, where was he come? Where was he come? Why would you do that? Now, our feedback line is how it's going to work today. We are going to flash the feedback line, but don't give feedback about this sermon. We want you to take the feedback, and when you have met your 5 people, we want you to text their number and their prayer needs into our feedback line. Your deadline is 7 p.m. tonight. You know, this thing closed yesterday. You really should be very happy that there's an extension. We have been announcing about this thing. I'm asking you to change your afternoon. You're going to sit somewhere having lunch with someone. You have neighbors. Well, I'm not asking you to go to this. Go to where usually I am. Look for 5 people. We want to pray for people. Get as creative as you need to be. Take a snapshot of it, send to people. I want prayer requests. God said, I want my banquet to be full. Does that sound okay? I'm trying to ease your pinch. So I can't let you go just like that. Is that okay? We have a chance today. We are finishing this series today. And so I would like you to pick flyers and give it to people. And say, our church is doing outreach and we are praying. And I'd like to pray for you. Take down the requests, take down a number and a name, and send it to our feedback line. And we'll take all the names that come in, we'll tabulate them, and then we'll call the people. Is that clear? That is what we like to do. Because God is serious about the lost.